reaching a high of 33. Lerato Hufela, Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News on 947. For more, click ewn.co.za.
#MSW.
You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High-dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Says Soweto Derby. Hey, has it lost its spark?
Bro, Rob, the treachery in Naturena continues. That despite all of their troubles, we are not even able to beat a disgruntled Moroka Swallows.
Hey, I've heard a lot of people asking the very same question. Says, what was the team doing during the Africa Cup of Nations?
Naturena just need to be relegated, man. You relegate them, that's where the management will see, yeah, something is wrong. Before that, it's just vibes there. Vibes.
Reaction Monday, so give us a ring.
What a comeback for Manchester City. Sundowns, keep going, Baba. Please, Shaban. Oh, what an angle. Proceed for the movie. Hi, Baba. The Poppy Sundowns. Now, Kevin Dapian. Bambi draw. I go and see Bafana Bafana. Kaizer Chiefs. Buhluka pheli mfana ngisi. Impilo yakhona lapha eNaturena.
I'm Konza, I'm a defender. Personally, as a player, my role has changed a bit. I'm playing in the midfield now, and obviously the coach is using me also at the centre back. But he said I must put my game more on midfield basis. Obviously, playing against my former team, it's a must-win for me. Not that we're trying to prove a point, but it's always nice to beat your former employees.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
Yeah, very, very dark day, I must say, waking up to the very sad news of the passing away of Sipho Konza. I mean, so serene, so gentle, very, very quiet, very grounded gentleman. And yet the minute that he spoke, you had to listen. You literally wanted to hear what he wanted to say and what he did say eventually. I mean, he spoke very eloquently. A man who left everything on the pitch during his playing days, began his career at the now defunct Bloemfontein Celtic. You have to go back to 1999. Turning out for Ria Stars, Lamontville Golden Arrows before joining Kaizer Chiefs in 2004. And if you remember, after leaving Amakosi in 2007, he played for SuperSport United, also played for Maritzburg United, Amazulu, Black Leopards. And in a post-Diski career, he thrilled, he entertained us on the small screen. Very, very witty yet very factual analysis of the game that he loved so much, the game that he also gave so much to. Sadly, though, Dr. Mnandi, as he was affectionately known, is no more. The legend of the game is resting. I mean, we were given a great individual, man. This Piwe was Piwe Konza, and he is resting. And may his soul rest in peace. The best that we can do in his honor is to call those who knew him very, very well and family representative, and I'm sure somebody who would have been extremely close in molding and shaping his growth in the beautiful game of football, not only just as a football player, but also as a human being, is Jasmine Matlachane. Jasmine, thank you so much for your time. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Rob, and good evening to MSW listeners, and thanks for the opportunity.
I know for you, it's a personal loss. My condolences.
Thank you, Rob, and I think I appreciate your kind words, and I think it's a great loss, I think, for my entire family. I think it's a great loss for Konza family, and I think I'm sure for football fraternity, and I speak for all his friends and relatives and those who appreciated his skills, as you mentioned, on the small screen of late after football. In general, I think it's a big loss. It's something that I can't come to terms with, because I was just with him a week ago at Charlotte Makeke, and he was, Pure's latest language was so confusing for me that he always said, "Hodman, I like it, it's a stock fair." What is stock fair? As in like gupizi, the stock fair. So I didn't understand what he meant to go to like stock fair. But I think it has just made me realize that this man is such a fighter and is such a great leader. During the time that it was very difficult, and I still remember when he was in hospital, I said, "Man, I was in the machine and then the girlfriend then brought the machine, and we cut his beard, and then we shaved his head, and I said, hey, only a little and I want bonbon with him. So little did I know that I think it will be one of those days that I'll be talking about him in his past, because we were still talking about when you come out, you still have to give a lot. You were saying he's thinking more of going into commentary, he wants to do more than what he was doing, but unfortunately, it wasn't to be, Rob.
Yeah, earlier today, Jasmine, as I spoke to you, trying to get a sense of what was going on, you made mention of the fact that you had a privilege of raising this man, from the age of 19, seeing him through his football career path until literally the last days on earth. Describe that for me.
Yeah, so I think the family, my family, obviously the Matlakhanis happened to know his father, Pure Konza, through our big brother. And we became friends with the Konza family from that end, and we happened to be introduced to Pure's mother. That was then. That Pure was probably about 6 years or 7 years, and years gone by. And I think at the age of 16, 17, I think obviously the parents went separate ways, and both of them were not working, and they didn't know what to do. Then Skesha asked me if I'm happy to take Pure in and live with him. At the time, I just started working, and I had my own, siblings, the two of them, my little brother and my little sister, who I had to raise both of them, and Pure was the third. So I had 3 children that I had to raise, and, but because I'm a football person, every time I went to training, at the time it was Catalan City, I'll take Pure with to train, and I still remember Kesha telling me that Pure is being used as a striker in Guatemala, something football association, whatever. And then I said, okay, you know what, Pure, I'm going to convert you into a defender because of your comfort on the ball. You're tall, you're smart, and you can read the game. And that's how Pure's defense career started. But at the time, obviously, there was nothing happening. Catalan City was not getting any income, and obviously it was difficult for me as well. What I then did is I made a call to Overstand Stars promo, may his soul rest in peace. I literally begged him to take Pure, and I believed Pure will be an asset to Bloemfontein Celtic. I still remember, and I will always be grateful to Overstars, because he said he'll take him in, but what's going to happen is that there may not be a salary. And then I committed that between me and him, we'll raise something just as a stipend. So I was paying for the place where he was staying. Overstars would give him money for food. So that's how Pure actually got into Celtic and became I think the following year, that's only when we signed a contract, which I think was less than what, he could be able to carry himself. But that journey is the journey that I saw through, and because he was almost, I think, 19, 20 at the time, and I said to him, I won't be able to take you to school because I've got these people that I also have to take to school. So I think you've got an opportunity to make something out of yourself. Go make a big a career out of this thing, because I think you can. And as they say, the rest is history, because from then it was just after Celtic, he made such a big impression, and Usisria took him. After that, it was like Sismato wanted him as well. And then the big move, obviously, was when he moved to Kaizer Chiefs. And Rob, if I can tell you the story about also moving to Kaizer Chiefs, that was an interesting thing, that before Pure moved to Kaizer Chiefs, there was a talk about Chiefs wanting Pure, and there was now a Coca-Cola Cup final, that the semi-final that Chiefs was playing Arrows. And in that game, Pure wasn't going to play because there was this thing that he's going to play against the team that he's moving to. And the first minute, Pure scored an own goal against when they were playing Chiefs. So which means that Chiefs was up against Arrows. But what he did, he then told Coach Kabo at the time that he doesn't want to play at the back only. He wants to play everywhere because he wants to score. And he did. He scored a draw. The goal that sealed the draw, and then eventually I think they moved to the next round. So I've finished Pure's career in that way, and I think one is just grateful that the parents trusted me with his life and his career, and until when he was retired and still stayed in the stable and became what everybody knows now as Dr. Mnandi, with all this language that confuses the hell of everyone.
Take me back, though, to 2004, because that was when the big contract was signed. I know there was a very famous photo of the now late Ted Dumitru, Kaizer Mtaung, the chairman of the club, Sipho Konza standing behind the chairman, Kaizer Mtaung, and yourself, Jasmine, standing behind Ted Dumitru. What is that moment like, and what do you think was going through his mind, given the magnitude of what was happening?
It was a turning point, Rob. I think for me, Sipho also, if I may, is one of the first ever players that I signed. Because obviously, by virtue of being my son, by default, as in one of my family members, there was no way he was going to be represented outside. So he became my first player to put in a professional setup. So moving to Kaizer Chiefs was actually the groundbreaking news. Also for the family, the entire family was really excited. They were excited about his move. And I must also thank the coach Ted Dumitru, obviously in his slips, and may he so rest in peace as well. And the chairman of Kaizer Chiefs at the time, because remember at the time Chiefs also had a star-studded defenders at the back. So, but Sipho walked in and he broke into the team. And Sipho always believed that he's going to play in the national team. I mean, there was a time when he moved to Chiefs, he did say to me that he wants to actually captain the national team, which I think at some point in his life he did that.
Yeah,
so
he did.
It was a big moment for him, and I knew that he was going to make it, because part of the conversation we always had was, you see how difficult it is for me. Can you see how difficult it is? So it's not easy out there. So whatever that you think people see out there is not what's happening behind the scene. That's what made Sipho to become the biggest man that he is today, because the background and the foundation that was laid was not of the celebrity kind of a thing. He knows what everybody went through, particularly what I've gone through to get him into football. And he knew that myself and Coach Styles Puma at the time, we literally were paying for him to play professional football, which was a bit crazy.
I'm going to ask for your indulgence for a little bit here, Jasmine, while I've got you on the line, because I want to head back to a certain time. This would be December, the 5th of December, 2014. And that's the beauty of what we always talk about on the show, is literally to celebrate the legends while they're still alive. Bring them forward to the show. Make them share with us some, maybe at times, very difficult moments about their careers. Share with us some of the most memorable times of their careers. But you know what? Listen to this very closely.
It's been a long day without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Sipho Konza's here. Hey, hey. I'm going to be asking for autographs from you just now. But how's it been? Congratulations on getting a slot to come through and share your knowledge on football with the rest of the nation. That must be quite exciting for you.
Very exciting, Robbie. I'm living my dream. I remember when I was still a younger boy, I always said I wanted to be on the radio or TV.
Yeah.
Today, every time I wake up, I always look forward to do the analysis on the TV.
But how different is it now that you are on the other side? Because I'm sure you used to get angry when people would sit there and criticize. Now, you're the one making those calls.
Yo. Robbie, if I can tell you now, every time I sit down and analyze the game, I always consider the fact that I used to be a player, and obviously I used to be criticized, but I'm not returning the favor now. But I'm just saying that every time I give the analysis, it's because of I have to give what I see and the experience that I had as a player.
Share with me, though, did somebody ever criticize you so badly on television that you would never forget that person?
Yeah, but I can't mention names.
Of course you can.
I can't, Robbie.
You're a former player. You're probably even working with the guy right now.
Yeah, you're right. But at the end of the day, I still became the national team captain. Even I was criticized that, no, this guy, he can't play, blah, blah, blah. But you can't please everyone.
But how's your relationship with him now?
Very close.
Yes.
Very close. Amazing.
And you never took it personally?
No. I mean, Robbie, it boils down to you as a person. When I criticize, how do you take it? Your father, when you do something wrong, he has to punish you. But if he doesn't punish you, but when someone criticizes me, I always say that person loves me because you give me something that I was not aware of.
Because you're a son to a true legend. Kesha was no ordinary player.
Under pressure at all times. He has never said to me I was a good player. Every time I'm wrong. There's no time where he says to me, you've done well.
Even when you became Bafana captain?
I'm telling you, even Namanje, while I'm analyzing, he calls me and says, but you were not supposed to say this. I say, this it's hard to please this man. I just want to thank you. Also, if you remember 7 years ago, I just joined SuperSport United and we were together and I told you and I just want to say thank you because you've inspired me.
No, for sure, Vani, you're doing well. And as I've said to you off air, that it's all about hard work and taking ownership as Konza. They still call you Ignatius.
Yeah, don't start.
All right, that's Konza joining me right here.
Thank you very much, Robbie.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Yeah, Jasmine, hey.
I think this is the part where I can only thank you for this because I don't think there's anything that I can say that will add to that clip that clip itself speaks volume for the work you do and you continue to do. And it's a beautiful thing because you don't claim to say, I remember this time and that time. Because even Pure in his hospital bed last week was still saying, hey, SABC. I think so that, like I said, language you'll never understand. But I think he always admired you a lot. He always spoke highly of you. And thank you. I can only thank you for that because, as I say, I've seen Pure from 6 years old to the time that I took responsibility of raising him to becoming a man and ultimately, becoming the man that everybody now enjoyed, listening to on radio and TV. And the interesting thing is I've always seen the traits of him and my little brother Tabiso because they grew together and they are 1 year apart. So because they grew under my roof and everything, I could see even when they talk the same. It was almost like a similar kind of how they were raised and so forth. But thank you so much. I can only thank you for what you've done for Pure. And wherever he is, may soul rest in peace. And I think he'll always carry you with.
Yeah, I think it's all the hard work he put in, Jasmine. I think at the end of the day, when people don't want to do something, they'll never be able to do it. But those who want to will pursue their dreams, and he certainly did. And I think the television landscape and space is so much more better with him having been there. And we are very grateful, Baba. We are grateful for the father figure you've been to him, and we're grateful for what you continue to do for the family. I thank you so much, man, for joining us. And again, receive our condolences.
Thanks, Robbie, and thanks for the opportunity. And I think, as I said, I'm sure there will be communication insofar as the burial is concerned because everything happened so fast.
Yeah.
And we're still here in Kwatema Springs, still trying to put things together. But with the grace of God, I think everything will come to pass. And like I say, may his soul rest in peace. And thank you. And also, you don't stop doing what you're doing because every day you invite any player to your studio. They feel inspired. You don't know how many lives you're changing. Don't stop it. Keep going.
Family representative there, Jasmine Matlachane, joining us right here on #MSW.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time.
#MSW.
At Bright, we don't just provide business insurance, we insure your business's
future success.
Because your business is so much more than desks and computers and equipment, which is why we use our specialist expertise to tailor solutions for each client differently to ensure what's really important. So insure your businesses.
Financial security
with Bright today. Contact your broker or go to brightinsure.co.za to find out more. Bright. Approach risk with purpose. Bright is a licensed insurer and authorized FSP.
Fly better to your next holiday. Book your flights with Emirates to a holiday in Dubai, London, Istanbul, or Paris. Look forward to delicious regionally inspired cuisine, Enjoy free-flowing premium drinks and relax to your favourite movies on the way. Because it's not just about the destination, it's how you get there. This year, fly Emirates. Fly better.
There are so many delivery apps in SA. You've got in 60, as soon as possible, and takes a lot longer. The problem is when you want to buy bread from, fruit from, meat from, and a new pan from, that's when things get. Simplify shopping with one card. Multiple stores in 60 minutes. Download one card and get 100 Rand off your first order. Shop it all in one card. T's and C's apply.
It's epic. It's turbocharged. It's Showmax, and we're bringing you even more to watch than ever before. Plus, you can live stream every Premier League match on mobile. Showmax is for game changers. That's what the top teams do. And gear changers. For football clubs and mommy clubs. We are back. For superheroes and super subs. What a day, what a game, what a goal. All from the unbeatable price of 39 Rand monthly. Showmax, streaming for Africa.
And we would buy 500 cars, and we would buy 500 more. So sell your car for the best price, and we won't think about it twice. We buy cars, we buy cars. We buy cars, we buy cars.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
Here's to the next 30 years of winning with Vodacom. Celebrate with us. Sign up or upgrade to any contract from 1st to 30th March at Vodacom World and stand a chance of winning one of 30 MSC cruises for two. Just imagine premium accommodation, delicious food, and epic entertainment. Here's to the next 30 years of connection. Exclusive to Vodacom World. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Yeah, the story that I was telling you about, Jwaneng Galaxy's head coach, Morena Ramarabuli, was very angry with the journalist who accused his team of focusing on a clash with security before their CAF Champions League clash. The coach was more upset by the journalist's questioning of his players' behavior.
Don't you think that your team had so much to do out of the pitch than on the field of play?
So they were supposed to keep quiet and be attacked. So who was supposed to protect us if the same security were attacking us? What are we supposed to do? Please ask questions like a journalist, not like a Simba supporter. If Simba was getting the same treatment in Botswana, will you be happy? You are saying we were fighting people who were fighting us. What are we supposed to do? Keep quiet and allow them to beat us? Are you aware how many injuries we are having here?
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
All right, as much as my guest is already here in studio, going to be chatting to him hopefully in the next 5 minutes. I am aware of all the tributes that have been pouring in with regards to Sipho Konza. And one of those would have been as a former colleague, somebody who earlier today I saw posting on X a photo of Konza wearing a hat. He had a comment to make about why he felt the need to wear a hat and then wear the headphones over the head. And again, it just describes the kind of personality Dr. Mnandi was. But yeah, very delighted that all the way across an island, Dwayne DeLocca has a couple of words.
Hello, Robert. Thank you for paying tribute to one of South African football's most effervescent characters, and that's certainly one way of describing Sipho Konza. He was a phenomenal individual. Not only was he a great player, who I got to commentate on several times over the years as a player for the likes of Chiefs and SuperSport United, Amazulu, Golden Arrows, but also for the national team. But he was also a very lively character, and he brought that joy and effervescence to broadcasting when he joined the realm of the media world after retiring. And I've got to say, one of the aspects I'm going to miss particularly about Sipho Konza is his sense of humour on air. And I think it's going to be an enormous miss for a number of people, millions of viewers that got to watch him and enjoy his antics, his lively turn of phrase, his understandings, his insights, his opinions on football. What I really remember about him, though, was while we had many conversations about football, he would often take me through systems and formations and certain aspects of players and how they were marking or pressing. And I would help him understand the implementation of the laws of the game, most notably. But we'd also have conversations about so many other aspects of life. And we didn't always agree on things. Often we'd come to a place where we'd sort of compromise on where the other person was standing. But we had genuine, authentic conversations. And what I'm feeling most now is regret that I haven't kept in contact with him. I last spoke to him about just over a year ago. And it's that crushing feeling that I'm not going to get a chance to speak to him again now. And maybe this is a timely reminder that we all need, that you've got to keep in touch with people and you've got to make time for people. I'm feeling regret right now. And I know there are loads of people that are feeling devastated by this news as well. My deepest condolences to his father, Joseph, and to his family and friends, and to all who worked with him in the broadcast industry as I did. But again, thank you for paying tribute to Dr. Mnandi. May he rest in peace.
Dwayne DeLocca, thank you very much indeed. Very emotional as he says that he regrets not keeping in touch. And I think it's always those simple things that we sometimes don't live up to. Just pick up the phone, send a text, drop a voice note, check up on somebody. But you know what? It shouldn't be something that he beats himself up to the pulp with. I think it's what he has shared with us, the memories that he has shared with us, the interaction that he shares with us that I think overrides any level of regret. And for that, Dwayne DeLocca, thank you so much indeed. Mushin Etrogral is also somebody that put up his hand.
Musin Etrogral speaking here. I'm really sad to hear Simpi's passing today. And I would love to express my condolences to the family and the loved ones. And to Simpiwe, rest in peace, my son. Your soul lives on in all the people that you have touched.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Hi, Robert. It's Abi Moloi from Nachurena. It is with great sadness to learn about the passing of Spiwe Dr. Mnandi Konza. What a fantastic defender he was, and a disciplined player, a player who was never in the front pages of the newspapers. He was a disciplined player, and we really pass our condolences to the family and the soccer fraternity at large. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you.
AB, thank you so much indeed. Certainly somebody who kept the headlines strictly for the back pages where football's played.
Good afternoon, Darop. Good afternoon to my MSW shoulders. It's a sad day in South African football, and for us, some tired fans, the Kaizer Chiefs for losing Spiwe Konza, one of the greatest players that probably Kaizer Chiefs defense. I remember how he marshaled that defense with the likes of Fabian McCarthy, Patrick Mabedi, Usko Kunzama. It's a really great loss for the Kaizer Chiefs fraternity and South African football as a whole. And the Kaizer Chiefs have to win today to honor him. Thank you, Darop, and all this in David.
Odyssey, thank you so much indeed. Yeah, talking about the football on the field, I see a lot of those messages making their way through on the social media platforms. People just basically saying, you know what, Chiefs, as you play Golden Arrows, make sure you give this man the points that he deserves. It's the least that can be done. Part of the fixtures there, Chiefs Arrows, Chiefs playing at home, Cape Town City playing at home against Stellenbosch, Cape Derby there, also AmaZulu playing against Swallows. Dr. Mnandi.
Evening, Robert. Never die. Take win. We are saddened by the passing of Dr. Mnandi Mfowethu. I remember him lapha e-KZN, Dr. Mnandi. Bengadli isikhumba kuphela nencwadi mfowethu beyidla lapha e-KZN. And mfowethu, I would like to say condolences to umndeni wami Konza and ama-South African fans mfowethu ambonile umkhonza egroundini mfowethu. And Robert, hayi Mnandi mfowethu ngeke ngambone eshaya on goal mfowethu. Washaya on goal ngalawa phinde uhamba oyikhava mfowethu on goal yakhe uphinde ukora nangale. Mnandi moment.
Oh, beautiful, man. Just as Jasmine recounted the moment where he scored an own goal, went to his coach. He said, Coach, listen, I don't want to be stuck in one position in defense. Please allow me to maneuver. And he certainly maneuvered and equalized.
Hi, Rob. Greetings to you and all the listeners. This is Joy from Watford in Benoni. Yeah, indeed, it's a really sad day in the football family. We have lost a great guy, someone who was very cool. He did play football without any mistakes, without any controversy. Vesho. I did really enjoy him, especially when he was at Kaizer Chiefs. But today it was very painful to hear that news on the radio. But nonetheless, what can we say? My condolences to the family and to the football fraternity at large. Thank you so much,
Shababa, thank you so much indeed. Condolences are certainly well received. There's a consistency if you listen very carefully.
Evening, Rob. Tsepoen Fosloras. Yeah, true legend. Yes, Israel. True legend. Game. He was unique. Nobody gave analysis like him, and mostly doing analysis language as he understand watina. So we really gonna miss him, especially on TV on his analysis. He was great, a very, very great loss to the football fraternity, and condolences to his family. Yeah, everyone close to him.
Yeah, when you talk about analysis, it's exactly what the people are saying. Yeah, able to break it down in a language that everybody understood. And I think that's how, Jasmine was saying that he would talk in a language that only he knew how to decipher, break things down. Oh man, looking forward to a great conversation. Please keep those messages coming through. We're not going to stop. We'll dedicate the rest of the show to the life and the times of Ubabum Konza. But we also have a great guest, somebody who's doing incredible stuff as well. You might not see him grabbing the headlines, but his deeds, as far as Bafana Bafana is concerned, they grab the headlines.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
I just want to remind Chiefs Uguti, once there was Free State Stars, and we are one of the toppest teams in South Africa. There was Bloemfontein Celtics, the well-supported team in South Africa. There was the Coco Stars. When they look at their support now, because of how they're doing, they should be concerned.
Is that a major concern? Do you think that the authorities in Nigeria are showing an interest?
What a bitter pill to swallow, watching Kaizer Chiefs struggling against a newly formed Moroka Swallows team. And it seems like my beloved team is struggling irrespective of which opponent we are up against.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
I tell you what, I mean, given the constant evolution that exists in the world of sport and more specifically in the world of football, I guess we are faced, though, with the implementation of new tools that did not previously exist, the appearance of new technologies such as video software, which is applied to football, allowing certain members of the coaching staff called analysts to have a greater possibility of reducing the chance of uncertain decisions, uncertainty in lots of ways that exist in the game. So the objective of the analyst is to monitor the different teams that are going to be rivals during the season with the intention of knowing their weaknesses in order to advance them, as well as their strengths in order to neutralize them. I think it's as simple as that. I'm breaking it down as a non-learned individual. But that is why I bring a learned individual into the studio. And this gentleman here, hey, South Africans, I mean, SA football is blessed to have this gem. And plaudits have to go to the Bafana Bafana players, Coach Hugo Broos, after Bafana's dream run in that first semi-final in 24 years. But this man flew under the radar, despite his immeasurable contribution to the team's success. And I want to quote a certain line. I don't know if you remember it. It said, "Which one is to my right, coach?" Hey, you remember those words? Which one is to my right, coach? Those are the words of Ronald Williams before going between the sticks to save 4 incredible penalties against Cape Verde. Now, that man who studied the opponents rigorously is the Bafana Bafana team analyst, and he's here with us. I think we need to also just shower him a little bit and say thank you. Give him his flowers, find out what it is that he does on a daily basis, go down a little bit of a journey, well-traveled. He's also been with Chippa United at a certain stage and also popped down to Nigeria. Hey, at Kaizer Chiefs with Mush. And no, it wasn't. It was Biddendorp. Biddendorp brought him along at the stage. Oh, man. You know what? Sinesipho Mali, Bafana Bafana performance analyst, as it is called. But trust me, his roles are so diverse that it's not just that title. Sinesipho, good to see you, man. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Rob, and good evening to your listeners. Yeah, thank you for having me.
I saw your face light up when I talked and I made that quote. We all heard it. You know, these days, cameras and microphones, they pick up little detail. In the past, we wouldn't have heard the, hey, which one is to my right, coach?
It was actually the one to the left because we had already done analysis and we knew that most of them go to the right.
Yeah.
And there was only one that was going to go to the left. So then Ronan asked the coach, Coach Grant, just to confirm that which one will go to the left. And yeah, we knew that there was only one that normally kicks to the left based on the study that you did.
And then you gave him the jersey number.
Yes, yeah.
And when that player came through, he obviously did what the analyst had said he would do.
Yeah, that was a deciding penalty.
And that was a deciding penalty, and Ronan saved it.
Yeah, yeah.
Whew. That is a lot. In just that sentence, I figured the trust levels must be insane. Because as a goalkeeper, you are now entrusting your being. You're now entrusting everything to a team that also does a lot of hard work. How difficult has it been to just garner that trust, your trust of him, his trust of you, before major decisions like that are taken?
Yeah, I think obviously, and I always say this, that football players are so intelligent, and football players know exactly when you're delivering information to them, because these are not just people who started playing the game yesterday. These are players who play at the highest level, who understand analysis. At a club like Sundowns, it's so detailed and it's very precise and it's very comprehensive, you know, so they obviously know exactly from the first line you say, when you are messing up with them or when you are really giving them the real thing. And I think the trust starts and develops from there, you know. And look, players also get to understand because we've been at the game and obviously, and remember that was not just the first game also. There was a whole lot of other games before, so there was a lot of work that was done. So that level of trust comes from when you've given certain situations to players and those situations happen like that, and then the trust starts developing like from there, I believe.
A player could say, just like you give Ronan Williams plenty of little video clips for him to analyze. Like, hey, here's your homework before you go to sleep. Look at these. And I'm sure there's a dime a dozen on his phone. A player could easily say, why must I bother? But they do bother.
Yeah, because it's also important to introduce a specific analysis culture to the team, so that players get to understand, and maybe not just players, but everybody within a football structure needs to really understand the importance and the impact. And as soon as players really see how this thing helps them, one, to be better footballers, because it's not just the opposition information, it's also their own performance from a data point of view. And when people ask me what is performance analysis, my line is always very short. It's an objective way to look at performance, you know, and an objective way to look at performance is referencing data, using videos to really give them more of an objective view of their own performance. So as soon as players really see certain elements that are informed by analysis that are helping them to get better, then the players, of course, buy into it. And as soon as players, when you give them information about opposition, and they can see the game, because players can read the game themselves, you know, and they can really see that the game is going to the direction that perhaps was presented to them in terms of the opposition analysis, and that is how now players start to say, okay, so then maybe this thing really does help. And I remember in one of my previous jobs at Chippa, we used to have lots of players. If you were to check Chippa between 2017 and 2019, I don't know if they have really made so many signings, sales in terms of players. And we used to have players coming from different levels, first division, local level in P and around the Eastern Cape, and some of them had never seen analysis before. But because we had introduced a strong analysis culture, where in that season, Chip, I don't think they've achieved it, where they've gone 12 games, we went 12 games unbeaten, second on the log, coach won coach of the month. We're having such a good run, we missed out on the top 8 with 2 points. But again, it was everybody coming in to a strong analysis culture that we had set up with Coach Debza for players to understand how can this weapon help you, one, to be better as a player, and two, to make better decisions in the game, because you know how the decision-making process works.
Sinesipho, I'm so absorbed in terms of what you're saying, I even forgot to look at the clock and say, hey, you know what, you need to take a quick break. We'll be back after the break. Sinesipho Mali, that is just how enthralling the information is. So, yeah, let's lap up to it.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
Hollywood Bets is ready to take you to the skies with Aviator. Clear for takeoff and your chance to win up to 10 million rand per flight with instant results every 90 seconds and multipliers that keep you on the edge of your seat. Bet online now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bets supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
We weren't born to stand still. You know what I'm talking about. The itchy feet, constantly on the hunt for the next hustle, the next adventure, the next horizon. We get it. It's in our DNA. This inner drive to push, own our path, and be more. Which is why we're excited to introduce the all-new Suzuki Jimny 5-door.
The Suzuki Jimny 5-door, born for the urban jungle and more. Now with extra space, wireless connectivity, and rear-view camera. Suzuki Jimny 5-door, born for more.
Sports fans, get ready to experience the thrill of the Basketball Africa League, BAL. For the first time ever, the BAL will be coming to South Africa. Don't miss this chance to witness history in the making as the four Kalahari Conference teams tip off the tournament and battle it out for a place in the finals. Catch the games live at the Sunbed Arena in Pretoria from 9 to 17 March. Buy your tickets now at bal.nba.com and be part of the BAL's 4th season. We're all for the game.
At Chamberlain's, there's something for everyone. From building supplies for the home renovators to garden essentials for the homemakers. From power tools for the DIY doers to painting supplies for the patio Picassos. We even have coffee for the slightly sleepy and snacks for the young ones. And for the ones who can never quite find what they're looking for, we have you covered too. With our promise to find and source whatever you need. Chamberlain's, famous for hardware since 1903.
It's incredibly tough navigating tax year end. You know, doing payments and submissions and things like that. It's absolutely crazy. I have weaknesses. I suck at accounting. Yeah, there's nothing that scares me more than having to do my year end taxes.
Sage Tools can help businesses like yours get tax year end ready. Visit tax.sage.co.za today. Sage, helping business flow.
It's Big Deal Wednesday at Food Lovers Market. Buy 2 1 kg tomato thrift packs for only 50 Rand and get a white button mushroom punnet absolutely free. That's 2 tomato thrift packs for 50 Rand and a white button mushroom punnet free. And enjoy 12-piece chicken fillets for just 59.99 per kilo. Valid this Wednesday only at all Inland Food Lovers Market stores. The best in fresh, guaranteed.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Let's head to Manchester now to review the clash. Ian Cheeseman, Manchester City correspondent, joining us live from the UK. When you talk about, some of the key moments, Phil Foden becomes one of that. You'd have had it covered in the match, the press conference as well, Ian. Just listening to what Coach Guardiola had to say. Let's have a quick listen and I'll get your comment.
He is right now this season, yeah. He's been the best so far. Always had the feeling to score goals in the training sessions. Always had the feeling. But now he's winning games. So.
He's starting to become that. I mean, the way that Alex Ferguson looked after Wayne Rooney when he first came into the United team, and arguably even Ryan Giggs, is very similar to what Pep Guardiola has done with Phil Foden.
Foden! Still Foden! He's done it again!
#MSW. #MSW.
Yeah, his name is Sinesipho, Bafana Bafana's performance analyst, and so much more that he does. He is my guest here in studio tonight. Lots of your questions I can see on social media platforms. But you know what? I got to celebrate the fact of your completion of that prestigious UEFA Elite Scouting program. You graduated as an international elite scout. And from the knowledge and information that I got is that you were the only African graduate from the class of 2023. So firstly, big ups, man. Well done. Congratulations. What's the feeling like?
Thank you so much, Rob. Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. It's a dream come true, you know, because as you would know, that in Africa there's not really this type of programs which are meant to enhance specialization within football. So UEFA Academy has got all these types of programs, and it's one to get in there. It's one of the most difficult things, because I was turned down a year before, you know, but I didn't give up. I applied again.
Why did they turn you down? What was the reason?
I was told that for that edition there was already a lot of high-profile applications that have came through, you know, and but I didn't give up. I went again, and I was successful in the interview, because you get interviewed. It's quite an intense process. You do lots of videos, and you have to, you know, but I was lucky enough to earn a place in last year's edition, and to graduate was really, really special. It's a very exciting program that does not only get you to understand scouting from a more theoretical point of view, but the practical part of it, because we go to 3 different countries. You go to Switzerland, you go spend time with the best clubs in Switzerland. You go to London, we spend time at Arsenal, at Brentford, and at Tottenham, and we finished in Monaco, where we graduated, at AS Monaco, and at Nice in France. So already those clubs, like, I mean, if you look at AS Monaco at the moment, they are the number 1 club that has made revenue in terms of player sales. So that talks to the type of information that you're exposed to, because these clubs, we spend day in each of these clubs, and they break down how they do things. So indeed, it was an exciting program, and really hoping that I can be able to take those skills and make a difference in my country.
Evening, Big Rob, and evening to your guest, Mr. Sinesipho, the performance analyst of Bafana Bafana. I have a question for Mr. Sinesipho. Firstly, I just want to know about the trust that you spoke about earlier on in the show, that you have to develop a trust between the player and you as an analyst. So I just want to know, how far do you take the trust? Because a lot of players don't want to be told what they don't want to hear. They want to be told what they want to hear. So how do you tell a player that this is your analysis and you performed well, and how do you maybe give them that morale boost to say, in the next game you can improve this and that? I just want to know, how far do you stretch in terms of the trust? Do you go over and above just football and maybe have a chat with the players, maybe have breakfast or lunch, just to understand the personality that you're dealing with? Thank you, Mr. Marawa.
Yeah, I understand the question. It's almost about how do you overwhelmingly earn the trust.
Yeah, I think players are professionals, you know, and like I said, it's to create an environment and create a culture around analysis. And I don't think it's about creating an analysis culture in a football environment, but it's about creating a culture of high performance, you know, and analysis is just one component of many other components that are needed in a high performance environment, you know, and like, I mean, players are human beings, and all players want to know is specific things, you know. So one of the things I always say, and one of the things I've learned, especially with time, with such an experience and top coach, and for me, in my humble opinion, the best coach I've worked with is Coach Hugo. You know, I've learned a lot from his experience, the calm, the personality, the importance of precise information that you deliver to players is what, because you've got to catch the players' attention while they can still listen to you. You know, you don't want to sit there and bore them, and you've also got to show that you want to receive information from them. Sometimes you ask them for questions. You know, you show them a clip and you say, what do you think you could have done better? Or what do you think the spaces are in this situation if you're showing them something about opposition? And once the players feel part of the process themselves, you know, then they're able to buy into it.
Yeah, I mean, it lifts that load off their shoulders and it like, yeah. So it's not a talk down on people, it's a talking directly with people. So your input, my input, but I am telling you, based on factual information, analysis, research, that this is the situation. All right, let's get down to, hey man, this question was always going to come up.
Rob, it's the Bohoya. Rob, first I just want to send my deepest condolences to the family of the late Pium Konza. What a great servant of the game, very knowledgeable analyst who could unpack and break down football scenarios in a simplified manner. May soul rest in peace. But also want to thank and celebrate your guest, Sinesipho Mali, for the role that he played for Banyana at the World Cup and Bafana Bafana at the AFCON, because his analysis made it easy for our coaches to understand what they were going to face in all the opposition. But my question to Sinesipho is around the circumstances that led to his departure at my beloved Kaizer Chiefs. I need to know what were the circumstances and the reasons for that, because I think part of the reason the team is struggling at the moment is that part of our technical team, particularly our analysis, was weakened by his departure from the team. I just want to hear his views around that, and I want to wish him all the best in everything that he's doing for the country and for football in general. Thank you so much.
Debocho, thank you very, very much indeed. Are you ready for this? I mean, what happened? People are disappointed. He's even attributing the current situation. You don't have to adopt his way of thinking, but just saying that what you brought in, because you came in a bit of background when Ernest Middendorp was there 2019, the good run, the last day game, the near victory. You were there. DCs are called up, you being accused of all sorts of crazy things, and then you're gone.
Yeah. I think I don't want to really go back there because it's almost 2 years ago, and I've achieved so much after that. And I think for me that's what's important. But of course, that question always comes, and there was a DC that I never sat, and the reality of the situation is there was a different direction the club was taking from a senior management point of view. And I had to respect that decision. You know, I still have so much respect for the club, so much respect for the bosses at the club, and every opportunity I get, I always show the highest gratitude, especially to the chairman and Mr. Bobby Mutaung, you know, for the support throughout, you know. And club was taking a different direction, and it's normal in football. And in any case, I always say that if you really check, even some top coaches will tell you that football is a 3-year cycle. So I finished my 3 years, and perhaps it was time to move on and focus on other things.
So no regrets in terms of the decision.
No,
you happy the contribution you made, and it was up to them to fulfill whatever it is.
Look, it was. I think it was. I think for both myself and the club, it was the best decision to take, because I remember just 2 weeks before everything happened, I could have gone to WAFCON with Banyana, and I couldn't go. And then I was 2 days before, I was served with the letter. I was supposed to be in the final with the DDC team in Devon for the Disc Shield. And I was fired before the final, you know. But I reflect, because I read a lot and I reference with a lot of people I look up to, like Jose Mourinho, that if it can happen to the likes of Jose Mourinho, then who I am. And I learned lessons from that as well. I learned lots of lessons in terms of looking at myself. What could I have done better? What was there any sort of contribution that I made for myself and the club to get to that level? And I made those reflections and made those lessons, and I took decisions to say, I'm going to empower myself more. I'm going to do better where I needed to do better, you know, but I'll always be grateful to the club. I love the club, you know. People who know me from a young boy will know that I grew up supporting the club. So even now, when I leave the studio, actually, I'm going to FNB to watch the club. So no hard feelings. I've got good relationships with most people at the club, and I had good support from some people at the club during AFCON as well. So yeah, always, like they say, I'm a Kosi for life. No regrets, but rather more grateful so that I can be able to explore my wings more.
I love that. I love the honesty because, as you say, you leave the studio, you're heading straight to the stadium. Probably be there again on the weekend.
Good day, Rob Sakila here in Johannesburg. I'd like to ask Mr. Mali there, as to the analysis that it does, how dynamic is it in a real-time situation when the game is on? The analysis that he has given to the players and to whoever in terms of the tactics at that point in time, with the head coach also having to send the final instruction to the players that this is how we need to adapt to what the opposition is doing. And in terms of that, how successful has it been? Because I realized when we played Nigeria only ballooned one penalty. All of them were on target. And how did our two guys that missed penalties should have prepared for the penalty kicks that they took? Because as much as we would like to give our goalkeeper analysis of other players, surely we should also impart that onto our players to say, listen, put this penalty kick on the top left corner or wherever. So how did he maneuver that in the Nigeria match? And my previous question as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I think a very fair question because it was a different approach, but it was also an approach where Nigeria had also equally done their homework and everything was probably straight down the middle. Ronan would need to commit first, which is what they did a lot of the time. They made him commit first and then they went for kicking the ball. So almost like a delay, commit, kick. How did you read that structure comparatively to the previous heroic performance?
I always want to give a more of an objective response to such. To say analysis is not certain, but analysis gives you a certain edge and make your decision making process slightly easier. So you can analyze and say, okay, look, this and this will happen, and it might not happen that way. I can make references with many situations where you've analyzed and you thought you figure out a certain situation and the application is different. So there's three parts into analysis. The one is the processing of the information. The second one, which is for me the key one, is the application, of that processed information. And the third one is the actual situation as it happens, So all these three components happen differently, So you've got your pre-information that you think it will happen, but again, it's not 100% certain. It's a probability, and the more you study the certain behavior and certain moments over and over, then you know that there is a high probability that in this moment, in this situation, a certain player will do this because it's behavioral analysis. So it's never certain, but it's a high probability based on the study of patterns.
What's the probability of getting you back on the show?
Yeah, look,
Should we discuss off air? Should we negotiate off air?
Yes.
Well, I'm actually fascinated by not just our discussion, of which there's still going to be different layers of junior national teams, your interaction and working relationship with Hugo Broos, as well as Helman Mkelele. I wanted to talk about the women's game and Banyana with you, your relationship with the technical director, etc. So there are many layers. Somebody was asking a question, was it a good idea that we told the media about our homework? So let's negotiate over there. I'm not going to say goodbye to you, but I'm glad I finally got to meet you.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.